Perfect. Hello and welcome back to Therapist Voices at ReachLink. ReachLink is a digital mental health counseling platform. My name is Jessica Hurwitz, and I oversee our network of therapists. Joining me today, I'm so excited, is Dr. Joel Bennett, founder and CEO of Organizational Wellness and Learning Systems, also known as OWLS, OWLS, like hoot hoot
That's,
owls.
and we give a hoot.
Well, I was going to say you're also such a hoot, but I didn't know if I should be so
There's that
familiar
too.
because you
Yes.
are one of the funniest people that I know. And that is a fact. So I know that a big part, Dr. Bennett, of your work is focused on stressors that mental health providers face.
Yep.
Tell us all the things.
Oh
What
gosh.
what do you do? How did you notice the need for all these amazing things that you do that you'll tell us about? What came first? What did you notice that was glaringly obviously missing?
Oh, where does it begin?
Where?
I mean, the probably the very first noticing was in the research literature because I have a very, I'm a researcher.
Mhm.
Was on the concept of vicarious trauma. Right. That was where, and then shortly after that, compassion fatigue.
Yeah.
Um, and then after that, moral strain and moral injury, right? All of these negative things, right? And then after that, with COVID, the total sort of reduction in workforce and the greater need for trained providers who have to do more with less. Okay, I mean, I'm just stating, what we
Yeah.
all know, and at the same time, all of that's happening. There's not a lot out there that actually, what? I'll go even further back.
Please.
The very first, we did a study about 12 years ago. We had a grant from this was NIAAA, National Institute of Alcoholism and Alcohol Abuse. And w- no, it was NIDA. Anyways, one of the NIH.
Mhm.
And we had one of our cohorts were providers, EAP, actually. And what we noticed in the data was that they had some of the highest rates of stigma for help seeking. That they themselves, these were mental health providers who thought they didn't need any help, right?
That's a problem.
Yeah, of course. So, okay,
Therein
now
lies the problem.
we have a syndrome here, right?
Right.
So that's how it started, with noticing those things.
What did you do? Were you like, "All right, I need to start this program immediately"? And you have so many programs, though. They're
Yeah.
all incredible.
Yeah, it's not about we always say it's never about the program or the
Mhm.
content. It's about the approach and the relationship, right? So it's just it's like taking the therapeutic alliance to the organizational or client level, right?
Mhm.
So, what did we do? Well, COVID sort of, I hate to say it, ripped off the Band-Aid.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we had one state level behavioral health, uh, I guess, syndicate, that really wanted to give their um, provider members support. And so they asked me to do a series of webinars. And what I what I discovered, I mean, these are primarily female, not only, but primarily, female. Also, frankly, uh, minority female, and not all, but um, what I it was just amazing the number of them that shared their vulnerability and how much psychic pain they were in. Uh, some of it, of course, was due to loss,
Mhm.
that was COVID related loss, but some of it was just overwhelmed, right, with the amount of work that they had to do. So then another agency was listening to this and said, "Let's work together."
Oh,
And we said, "Well, we have a lot of tools. How can we package it to be uh, an approach that would be sensitive to the needs of people and not be overly didactic?" We don't do didactic. We don't when it's not death by PowerPoint
right.
ever, ever. Uh, and that's also part of the problem we'll get into. Anyway, so we created this program called You Matter. This is
Mhm.
one of these.
Yeah.
And what it is we first start off by creating a care package, a physical box that has some of our, self-care books in it, candles, uh, incense, essential oils, crossword puzzles, mandala book, all these different pieces. And it is basically, that's the first thing they get. And now it comes from the organizational client, right? But
Mhm.
so but we help with it, but it's not coming from us. It has to come from the
Yes.
organization, the leader, the supervisor. And that sends a powerful message, right?
That's huge.
Yeah. And it's not a lot of cost. It's not like, you know, but the other thing I learned about that part is that when your heart is in supporting your people, you love putting these boxes together. you know, it's like it's a thing. I'm a guy. I don't know if people realize, but guys, I like to put boxes together. I love putting gift boxes together. Oh my God. Don't even get me started. You know, jelly, jam, you
Oh, I
know,
need you to
uh,
wrap all my daughter's Hanukkah and Christmas and birthday presents then, so we will discuss
oh,
that.
yeah, no, I mean, don't even get me started. Anyway, but then we have what we decided to do was for the format to make it as efficient as possible is to do group coaching, via Zoom, and to do uh, a key part of all of our work is supporting what we call paired or group really listening exercises.
Okay.
Because what we find is there's so much talking, and we live in Edgar Schein, who was sort of my hero as a consulting psychologist. We live in a culture of telling.
Yeah.
We don't live in a culture of listening. And beautiful as it is, therapists, counselors, providers, that's what they do, right? And um, we need to listen to them too.
Mhm. We seem to have missed that along the way.
Yes. But they need to know, and this is a switch. They need to know that they deserve
Yeah.
to be listened to and to have a space to listen to. So I won't go into all the detail of what happens in the coaching, but it's all around emotional dysregulation, working, kind of like coming clean on your vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue, and moral injury, having a safe space to talk about that. Um, and what I've oh my God, there's so many stories. And we're
Oh,
presenting the
y
results of some of
all
this.
of them. I love
Yeah.
all the any stories you're willing to share,
Well,
please.
we're actually, I don't know when this is coming out, but next month we have a panel at the Southwest Psychological Association in Frisco here in
Ooh.
Texas, where we're going to present the results of our research because we always do research on it. And probably the most important thing, if I had to give one story, what we originally found, because we've now done close to a dozen cohorts
Mm.
of this, and it's always limited, 20 individuals per cohort. And our coaches are amazing. Our, providers are just really good at doing that laser. How can we get people in a group together to talk and provide them support? Anyway, one of the things we saw in the data, which sort of like bothered me, was we actually saw increases in some of these problems from pre to post assessment.
Huh.
And this is over, it's generally 3 week to 4 week period that we're doing it,
Mhm.
weekly. And I was like, "Urgh,"
Yeah,
right?
how do you figure?
I This was the quantitative data, but the qualitative data, they have to write these final essays and share, was completely opposite. It was like much deeper emotional resonance, a lot of release, emotional release,
Yeah.
a lot of gratitude. And what I learned, we started to ask different questions, was that number one, providers are so overprotecting themselves that they don't have that opportunity or space to be vulnerable. And it hurts them. In fact, that's one of the issues, is it's a cardiovascular risk. Um, and so what happens, we find that one, they become more aware of their stressor. So you
Mhm.
see an increase. They become more willing to admit what's going on. So you see an increase. And then they become more willing to share it. So the analogy here is amazing with the occupational safety literature. So in occupational safety, construction, manufacturing, some mining, when people do these safety climate interventions, in that literature, safety climate is, hey, it's okay to come forward if you see an injury. We're not going to, it's okay if you do a little accident because we'd rather know about it.
Right.
So there's often a climate of suppression. And what the literature suggests in that field, this is total worker health, occupational safety, is that when you do those interventions, you actually see an increase in injuries and accidents.
That now
But
makes sense,
yeah, but it's not that you see an increase, it's that people are more willing to come forward with it.
which is great.
It's great, but it's got repercussions if you're OSHA regulated.
Sure.
So people don't always do this. I don't know if I want to do these kind of interventions.
Right.
The parallel here, I think, is obvious that, you know, um, what if I admit it? What do I have to do? And that's where the stigma comes in. So it's complex, it's nuanced. So that's a short synopsis of that particular approach for providers. And I can go into some detail on some of the tools that we use there and in our Thriving Informed Practice program that we do with EPA, you
Yeah,
know, so I'm happy to do that. But I hope that,
please.
kind of gives you a
No,
sense.
that's great, and I would love to hear. And I know about both of these pretty well. So anything about either of them, thriving or whichever,
Yeah, I
please.
mean, the thing is, the tools are there, right?
Yeah.
Whether our tools or other tools, they're there. Mindfulness, uh, loving kindness meditation, ACT therapy applied to oneself, um, Brene Brown, whoever, the tools are there. They're just everywhere. And now with YouTube right now, you can go on and do a 10-minute meditation to do an emotional reset. And there's probably 1,000 of them.
Yep.
Uh, Tapping, all the things that are out there. Um, so I want to be clear that we're not saying that the tools that we use are the tools,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Um, I'm a big fan of somatic work. Uh, there are a lot of people now who are doing breathing types of exercises.
Mhm.
Um, so it's sort of like, how do you use the tool and how do you incorporate it into your daily practice? Uh, for providers, it's, if you're doing therapy, before you go into session and after you come out of a session, do you just go right to your notes? Do you just condense everything, or do you set things up? Does your employer allow you to set things up? And do you stand up for yourself and say, look, I know we're overworked. I know that the demands are great, but I'm going to burn out here.
Yeah.
So I can give you the tools, but the most important tool is this self-efficacy that and collective efficacy that the field as a whole has to recognize that um, there's a union aspect to this, so we can get into the whole conversation of
Yeah.
AI and how people have moved away from working within a group practice, and which is, I think, related to what you guys do.
Yeah.
So I first I want to say it's honor to be here because I know you guys are really trying to create a culture that's related to what I just said. Would that be?
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much. Thank you for saying that.
Well, that's why I'm here. I mean, that's why we're talking.
I
Right.
I feel very strongly. I know we're talking about much more than this, but these days, people are probably so sick of hearing me say this in my life. What therapists are expected to be these days compared to I don't know when is just so wild to me. They have to be a great therapist, but also a tech wizard, their own IT person, their own everything. And I just refuse. I will never have a provider's name come across my desk or meet a provider where I feel like, nope, they can't use our AI. They can't, that's not an option. I will make it happen because the people that we're missing out on would be that would be extreme. These amazing therapists that had no idea they had to go to school to be, to learn AI and all this stuff. It's just not fair. It's not fair.
So say more about that. Like, what are the boundaries there? What do you actually say?
Well, with providers, they always know from the start that they have any amount of support here. We're very firm on using AI, using automated systems, but there will always be a human. That is never going to go away. I wouldn't work here if that wasn't the case. So whether it's someone that I meet with on a video every other day and we look at things together, we share screens, we use another method, those things will not be a barrier.
So you're
Feeling
you're you're
insecure
going to keep
getting it.
say again?
When providers might feel insecure about, "I don't know how to turn this video on."
Yeah.
I probably didn't either. Like, you're in good company. We will figure it out together. I just feel so strongly I refuse for there to be a provider at ReachLink that feels alone, that feels like they have to figure it out.
So when
Because
it comes
here
to
to do
tech,
the therapy.
so when it comes to technology, you're going to take the time to support the provider in working through the use of that, and not putting also too much pressure on them to use it. Is that correct?
100%,
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. We want them to use it's for them. That's a huge thing here. All these tools are for them. And there are in fact a lot of tools that we offer providers that I, as the person who's, looking at their performance, that I'm not even able to see. They can see from a session different metrics about how much they talked, which I don't even want to know if I had that for my own conversations. How much the client talked, pause time, all these really cool things that are just for them. Again, I can't even see them. It's just that is really the vibe. That's what we want people to understand, that it's for them. And they don't have to use everything. I
Right.
would
So let
definitely use the AI note because it's great, but it's up to people. We don't want people to be tied in to a
Yeah,
box.
so this is an important this is a kind of a pivot in the conversation, but it's important that um let's go back to burden on the
Mhm,
provider.
mhm.
And how much is technology adding to the burden? How much is the technology removing the burden? And what's the learning curve? And what I think is most important, given the what we call socio-technical interface, the human centered, right? The high tech, high touch, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it.
Mhm.
Providers currently, uh, are at varying level of skill for that.
Right.
And so there is another stressor. I mentioned earlier compassion fatigue,
Yep.
vicarious trauma, moral injury. The other stressor here is what I call in some of the research calls techno stress, or
Oh, I love that.
yeah,
I mean, I don't
or
love that, but I
yeah,
love
right,
that it's a
tech
thing.
techno invasion. And what what's happening, and even therapists and providers are seeing this, is that in many other occupations, people are experiencing job insecurity,
Yeah.
uncertainty about the future because of AI. I mean, just this week, I think Google is investing $150 billion in AI, right?
Wow.
For and so, but nobody is really thinking about what is the impact it has on the human-centered occupational front.
Of course.
So that's we've been in occupational psych. Our field, there are a number of fields we work in, but one of them is occupational health psychology. And um, I'm going to come back to the tool thing, but you have to, in terms of your own, commitment, your own
Mhm,
ethical commitment,
mhm.
is to navigate the business that you have with other competitors out there, and recognize that there has to be this value add of, this is a place that I want to work in
Yeah.
because it does show that it cares for me. And that takes time.
Yeah.
It takes human touch. And it's not the predicted norm. The norm is not
Right.
human centric. The predicted norm is more AI, more techno, and more efficiency. So it's countercultural, but that's where empowering them in their own voice. That's one of the things that our work suggests, is we can give people all these tools for self-care. People talk about self-care. We can give them access to online asynchronous resources, YouTube. What we have found and fully believe is that putting people together in groups
Like you're
where
yeah,
where they can talk with each other, feel supported by each other, feel empowered, and feel that their employer cares about empowering them and their career and their growth, is the number one, I think, predictor of health and well-being. Feeling that you belong, connection, social capital, support, social support, supervisor support. The research is extremely overwhelming. Uh, and so this profession needs it more than ever. And so now, having said that, I think that your leadership, right? The ReachLink, I'm sorry, I've got to make sure that there's no more techno invasion here, right?
oh god. I love that term. Again, I hate it, but I love it. I love that it's
Well, what it is, so somatics, so let me come back to that. So
yeah.
we know that uh, internet technology, social media, even this is a screen, right? We're on a
Mhm.
screen here, does not support uh, broadened attentiveness and focus. It supports fragmentation, and more younger people who are coming into the field have less attention span, are less able to focus, are more, we used to call it multitasking. It's just basically a culture that supports not paying attention. And what I believe from my own work, the counter to that is somatic presencing. You'll see here it says quest for presence is our other piece. So what I prefer to do now is to just do a tool. Like, let's just do a tool right now,
Okay.
you know,
Oh, I love it.
instead of
Please.
talking about it.
Perfect.
So okay, so let's just close our eyes for a moment. This may take 3 minutes.
Please.
and really let that, that sense of, "Oh gosh, I can actually not have to listen to more bullshit and just relax for a moment."
You can't make me laugh during it. I'm always gonna laugh.
No, you gotta laugh. It's good for
You
laughter.
have to. Okay, I'm gonna
Laughter yoga is another somatic modality.
Ooh.
In fact, I always say I have a book of dirty limericks here, but I won't read them out loud. Okay. Anyway, uh, take a deep breath. Feel your feet wherever they are resting. Is your foot flat on the floor or is your heel just there? Let both feet come to rest on the floor. Are your hands fidgeting? Are they connected? Let them separate and put them on your lap, and you likely will feel some warmth. Let that warmth contact you. Inhale as deeply as you can without strain. Let it go. Inhale again and straighten your back a little bit. You know, don't overdo it. And inhale again. You might feel your belly and you may be judging yourself. Oh my God, I feel my belly. I'm a little
Totally.
overweight. Maybe I'm a lot
Totally.
overweight. Okay, let that go.
That's not fair. I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to do it with you.
Okay, come back to your breath. Quiet the mind a little bit. And just notice for a moment that all of this is a rhythm. The breathing is a rhythm. Breathe it, sense it, feel it. The heartbeat is a rhythm. You might feel the pulsing somewhere in your hands or neck or torso. That's a rhythm. Breathe into that, sense it and feel it. Whatever comes up is fine. This meeting is a rhythm. The conversation is a rhythm. The technology is there, but it's way in the background. What's most important right now is your body and your being in tune, breathing, sensing, feeling, rhythm. And just let your mind go for a moment and sense your day, what brought you here, the rhythm of sleeping and waking up, of having whatever food you may have had, what happened just before this meeting, your being here listening to this, what's about to happen next, and come back to the moment. And tell yourself briefly, just sense it. It's all unfolding. I'm okay with it. It's all unfolding. I'm good. And then when you're ready, feel your feet on the ground or maybe move your hands and wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and come back and open your eyes when you're ready.
Well, I liked that. You know what I really liked that you said? When you said I think you said, "And I'm okay with that." That's great. Because at first it's challenging, like, "Wait, what? Am I letting go of all this stuff? Okay. Doctor Bennett said I am."
There you go. That's great. Yeah. So hopefully that And of course, that could take longer. This was just a small sample, right? So, what's next?
I love that. Well, now who's supposed to go to work now? I'm very
You
grounded.
well, that's a great question. Who is going to work? Which Jess
You
is
never
going to
know. You never seriously, you never know. I never know. Truly,
Yeah,
truly. But it's gonna be a really productive one, I think.
yeah.
I hope, and I'll let you know. I will circle
Productive
back and give the feedback.
so quick note before we finish,
Please.
productive, efficient, present,
Mhm.
in sync, in rhythm. We know that productivity can kill us.
Yeah.
So I will say, please take your time.
Did everyone hear that? Because truly, please do.
The truth is you can't help but doing it. It will come out, the best-selling book is The Body Keeps the Score. Um, it's because we don't pause and slow down, it's gonna come out some way. So it's what do you value,
Right.
People go, "Well, money. I value money. I need to make money. I've gotta feed the kids." Okay. It's always a balancing act, right? But that's where rhythm comes in. When you're in tune with your rhythm, um, it's much easier to balance. If
Mm,
you're struggling to be productive in balance, that's why the body, uh, somatic work is so important. That's all.
I love that. I'm always gonna tie somatic to you, to your company. That's amazing. Well, you really set me up for the day, set me up for success. Thank you so, so much truly for doing this. We're gonna have to have a part 2. Are you up for a part 2?
As much as you want.
So, ReachLink providers, if anyone is listening right now, um, you may be hearing more about Dr. Bennett and his programs in the near future. Wink, wink.
Hopefully.
It's a good wink. So stay tuned for some cool things for you guys. Thank you so much, Dr. Bennett.